Hi, buddy. How you doing today? It's Traveling with Bruce here. Welcome to the big show. It's our first show of 2023. Great to have you join us today. I hope you had a great New Year's, and before that, you had a fantastic Christmas. I know some of you out there have been out visiting and having friends and relatives visit you, and I'm sure figuring a lot of you are hoping things are going to calm down now. Get your lives back, get your house back, hang out with your pets, and go for walks and just calm back down to normal. Hopefully, all of you out there are doing well health wise. I sure hope that many of you have avoided getting any kind of infections or anything else. The stuff that's going on out there, unbelievable. I just heard from a friend of mine today, told me about a 40-year-old that he knows who came down with this RSV something infection in lung thing. And within 2 days of getting not feeling too well, had to go to the hospital. And thankfully, thankfully, well, they told him that you have pneumonia in both of your lungs. And so here's some medication for you. Go home, rest, and do nothing. And hopefully this will be good enough. But thankfully, 2 weeks later, our friend is in better shape, but still says, I can't tie my shoelaces without being exhausted. I mean, bending over like that, I can't do it. Pretty tough. It's still he figures another 2 weeks before he can go back to work because he's just trying to get his strength back. Unbelievable. Lost 20 pounds. This is a 40-year-old. This is not a guy who is obese and is way overweight, nothing like that at all. Father of two, and really got hit hard. I was shocked to hear that. That's up in Calgary. I was really surprised by that. Hopefully, none of you are running into that kind of problem. We aren't running into that here. Here in Palm Desert, California, the big news for us is that Jennifer is now sporting a new hip. Last Thursday, we got Jennifer into the Eisenhower Medical Center, and we dropped her off at 10:15 in the morning, and I picked her up at 6 o'clock, 6:15 in the evening. And the doctor had already called us at 3 and told us the operation went very, very well. And she's going to be up and about in no time. And she was already walking with physiotherapy assistance already. And that they were very happy with the entire procedure and that she would be better than her old self in no time. So I tell you, we were thrilled. It's now been 3 days. So that was Thursday. This is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, 4 days. This is Monday, the fourth day. Monday, 4 days later, and we've been here the whole time. And Jennifer Jr. is looking after her during the daytime, and I'm looking after her in the evenings. And she has got her walker going all over the house here, no problem at all. She's heading to the bathroom, going to the bedroom. She lies down on our bed and does exercises that they've given her to do. And she's stretching, and she has this ice pack thing that she puts on her hip that is connected to a box that looks like a cube. It's a big cooler, has a pump in it, and runs this cold water through these pipes through this bladder thing on her hip, and that reduces the swelling. It's unbelievable. It's just amazing. And she's up and about, and she's eating wonderfully. No infection, no fever, no nothing. She's coming around, and we're very pleased with how things are going. So yeah, giddy up. Jen is on her way back. So if you're happy to hear that news, please throw a thumbs ups our way. Let us know what number thumbs ups you are. Today is thumbs up day for Jennifer and the success of her full hip replacement surgery. Unbelievable. The doctor mentioned to her that when they were, finally able to see everything with their own eyes, on a scale of 1 to 10, the amount of arthritis that was in her hip, causing all this pain, all this lack of movement, all kinds of problems. The scale from 1 to 10 was an 11. They say you should have been in here a decade ago. You should have had this hip replaced 10 years ago. You've had 10 years of needless pain, needless problems. Absolutely ridiculous. The amount of Tylenol you've taken, the amount of ibuprofen you've taken was not necessary. And so, very interesting. But then the doctor said, "Oh, by the way, we did a CAT scan on you a couple of days ago before you came in here. We were checking your other hip, and according to our specialists and all of the folks who know how to handle CAT scans, based on the hip we've seen with our own two eyes and compared to the hip, the other one, the arthritis on the other one is a 9." So you don't think that the other one is only about half as bad. It's almost as bad. It's a miracle you're not dying in pain from that one. So that's next year's operation. Next year, you're going to get the other hip done and get all that arthritis out of there, and you're going to be good as it can possibly be with two hips. Good for at least 25 years each, based on current research. So I'll tell you, she's good until 92. So things are going well. So anyway, there you are, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Hit that thumbs up button if you're happy that Jen is getting better now. We sure are. We are delighted. We are relieved. And we are excited. She starts one-on-one physiotherapy, I think, on Thursday. So back to the hospital we go, and her therapists are ready to help her with the range of motion, strength, rehabilitation, all that stuff. And they're ready to work. She's a willing patient. She's doing exercises 3 times a day now. We don't even have to remind her. She's on it. And so looking good. Thank you all for being here. Annie Mon, thank you. Number 3 thumbs up today. Perfect weather, Sydney, Australia, 80 Fahrenheit. Not a cloud in the sky. It's not humid. It's absolutely fantastic. Here in the desert where we are, we got up to 62 degrees today. It's now 57 Fahrenheit. So that's about 18 Celsius for the high, maybe something like that, maybe a bit more. We're doing okay. We're going to reach 67, 68 by next weekend, but between now and then, it'll be the low to mid 60s. That's normal around here, so not too bad. So many cruise ships in Sydney Harbor, says Annie, and plenty of foreign accents. It is great. Stephen Butler, I'm number 4 on that like button meter of yours. Gas is $2.75 a gallon, Bruce. It's 65 degrees in Northwest Arkansas. It's raining right now. Happy New Year, you all. Looking forward to the first TWB show of the year to start the new year right. And I welcome all of you to the channel this evening. Shady Hill Homestead, hello everybody. Number 6 on the thumbs up meter. Jeannie, hello Bruce and TWBers. Happy New Year 2023. Bill and Jeannie are here for the big show from East Tennessee. Connie Servino, hello there, Connie. Hi Bruce, and hello to everyone who's watching out there. Kirk Brunson's YouTube and Facebook channel. The man is in the house from New York. Hi Bruce and TW family. Kirk from the Big Apple is here, and I'm at work tonight. Welcome, my friend. Good to have you popping in here. Beach Bum Dave is here. Hi, Bruce. Robert Mailed. Hello, all. Happy New Year. Hey, I'm here live, not a rerun or an archive video. Thank you, Robert. Hit that thumbs up button for us and add to that total live today. Those of you watching on the rerun tonight, hit that thumbs up button for us. Let us know what number you are, because we seem to be able to get 100 thumbs ups every Monday night on this show. Every time, even with the reruns. You gotta love that. Thank you all for helping out. Hi again, Bruce, and all TWB fans. Donnell is in the house from Cork, Ireland. I am thumbs up number 15. Thank you, sir. Rocky Grasso. Hi, Bruce and TWB family. Sorry I missed the sponsor show, but my friends at the local pub forced me to stay for another round. What can I say? I am thumbs up number 10. Thank you, sir. Kimberly is in the house. So thankful that Jennifer finally got this hip thing taken care of and is doing so well. We are relieved. I'll tell you, we have been waiting a long time for this. Kevin Chapman is in the house. Hi, Bruce. Can't stay long tonight, but thumbs up number 22. Glad Jen's surgery went well, and we're wishing her a speedy recovery. Cheers and Happy New Year. All the best to you and your family. Thank you, sir. Miss M, Happy New Year, Bruce, and TWBers. Rocky, I saw a note last week in a Facebook post that at the top of the top 15 best places to live around the world were, and number 1, Vienna. Number 2, I don't remember, but tied number 3, Zurich and Calgary. Yeah, that's right, Calgary, Alberta. That's where we come from. Isn't that interesting? Ms. M, number 23 for 2023. Thank you, Ms. M. Kimberly just proves us women rock. There you go. Louise is here. Hi, Bruce. Happy New Year. Please share how much the surgery cost so we Canadians know what to expect. This surgery was about 28,000 American dollars, and then we had to pay for the medication, and we bought this this machine. It's like looks like an ice chest, a cooler that you plug into the wall, and it has a pump system in it. And that ran another 300 something dollars. And we bought our walker. So I'm going to guess about 28,500 American dollars to get that done. That's about 2 million Canadian. I would say if you add about 35 to 40% to that number, you'll Canadianize it. Funny thing was, we were getting ready to pay for this procedure. And Jennifer was talking to the gal over at the payment center, and she said, "Oh, you can pay either with a check, or you can pay with a bank money order, or by credit card." We can pay you by credit card? Oh yeah, she says. If you pay by credit card, you probably get a lot of points. And I thought, holy moly, would we ever get a lot of points? So Jennifer called her bank and said, "Hey, I want to pay for my hip surgery that I've got coming up. Can I set up a one-time payment for my credit card for this?" And the bank said, "No problem. Sure, we can set that up for you." And the bank said, "You get a ton of miles for this. You get a lot of points." So, okay. So we set up the transaction, and Jennifer paid for it. She made a transfer of funds from her bank account, to her credit card. So it had this huge balance in it. And then she paid the balance from her credit card to the hospital. And she racked up some, I don't know, 70,000 points. I don't know what it is. I think we have enough points. If I'm not mistaken, I think we have enough points for the two of us to fly anywhere in North America in economy. I think that's where we're at. But by the time we're done using the card down here and get back home, we might have enough points piled up to fly from North America to Europe and back on economy points. So we'll see how this all works out. You never know. Cloud 7, hey, Bruce, got a little late here. I'm happy. Happy New Year. Thank you, Cloud 7 Travel. Louise is here. You are resting in my kitchen against organic tomato sauce. Oh, you got a picture of me on something over there. Rocky, best place is Vienna. Number 2, I don't know. Tied for 3rd, Zurich and Calgary. Cloud 7, gas is $1.29 a liter today. It was $1.09 on New Year's Eve. The province suspended the gas tax on January the 1st, so something fishy's going on. That means the price went back up. I guess I don't know what's going on. Nikki, hi from Jacksonville, Florida. Hello, Nikki. Cloud 7 surgery cost less than I expected. I was expecting close to 50,000. Cloud 7 chair needs more WD-40 again. Louise, sounds like it was worth it. Hope Jen feels better soon. You are such a financial guru. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're pleased that it's been done. We were at least on a three-year waiting list in Calgary. 3 years of 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week pain that Jennifer was experiencing. And, she could try and move a little bit and try to reposition herself, but don't think about going shopping. Don't think about taking out the garbage. Don't think about making yourself a cup of coffee without pain, deep deep pain. No, 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 no. We've put an end to that. There's none of that anymore. So we're not waiting 3 years. Not a chance. There you go. Jeff Gunter. Hey, how you doing, Jeff? Number 34 thumbs up, Bruce. Happy New Year to you and yours. Thank you so much. Louise, I'm listening to you on my phone, and it's in my kitchen. You're using one of those holders, one of those cell phone amplifiers that you got with my logo on it. Fantastic, Louise. Thank you so much. We have a bunch of those in storage right now. I can't get to them at the moment. We are sitting on 36 thumbs ups for this show. You got to love that. Thank you all for finding a way to get a thumbs up our way. Let us know what number you are. Tell us what the temperature is where you're living. What's the price of gas where you are? And how are you doing? From here, I have a little bit of news for you, some cruise news. And it's a little of this and a little of that with some commentary thrown in the middle. I read today something interesting. Now, this story that I'm going to tell you about seems to have come out a couple of days ago through some of the cruise ship news publications that are out there. So some of you may have heard some of this story. Some of you might not know anything about what I'm about to tell you, but I was interested in this. This really got me thinking. Apparently, it's a Norwegian cruise line story at the moment. Now, it's possible, and I would not be surprised that this story and this situation over here is going to spread. But at the moment, it's Norwegian. Now, you might remember a week or two ago, I did a story here talking about Norwegian Cruise Lines, where I said to you guys that the president, the CEO of Norwegian, got himself a big fat raise and got a huge pay package yet again. I believe his name is Mr. Frank Del Rio, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Del Rio, since 2015, 16 up till now, has been raking in 20 plus million a year in benefits, stock benefit options, and car allowances and salaries of a couple of million a year. Phenomenal money. The cruise line, as all of you are aware, cruise lines have been doing nothing but losing money now for years. Certainly because of COVID. Even when they were making money, they'd make $40 million profit on billions of revenue. The margins were so laser skinny thin. There wasn't much going on there, but profits were being made before COVID. And since COVID, no one's making profits. Well, here's the latest. We just heard a couple of weeks ago that the gratuity charge was going up on a per day basis, per passenger, for all the cabins out there. And you guys remember, I think I said something like they were going from $15 to $16.50 a day per person, or they were going from $17 to $18.50 a day, and that kind of thing, depending on what kind of cabin you had, balcony, suite, all that. Now, here's the latest news. This just blows my mind. The folks at Norwegian have announced that they are going to begin bringing this out to the entire cruise line. This is coming out to the entire cruise line. They're going to start cutting back the stateroom services that they are doing. For example, if you're on a cruise ship and you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth and you brush your hair and you get dressed and you head out for breakfast and you go out to the buffet, for example, and then you go for a walk around the ship and you come back to your room like 2 hours later. Chances are that your room has been made up while you were gone, because the stateroom staff are on top of your cabins. I mean, they keep them spotless. They've probably changed the sheets already, changed everything out, made your bed, cleaned up after you, cleaned your bathroom area right up. You have new towels, everything's fresh, and they're gone. They're already gone. You come back to your room and it's, oh, wow, it's been made up. This is great. And then you go out in the afternoon, and maybe you're on an excursion somewhere, and you come back, and you change and get ready for dinner or something like that. You go out for dinner, and then you come back after the show, and it's time for bedtime, and you come to your cabin, and your bed has been turned down for you. There used to be with towels, these animals all folded up with towels on your bed, and there'd be a chocolate on your pillow. Depending on the cruise line, they had different stuff going on, and there was always fresh ice in your ice bucket in your room. The attendant was always tending to your room, minimum twice a day, sometimes more. All right, this was the standard of all cruise lines because they could not do enough to make you happy with your stay with them. And this is what the charm of going on a cruise was all about. You could order breakfast in for room service. You could go out to the main dining room. You were treated just like a first class passenger wherever you went. It was great. Well, Norwegian has decided that they're going to cut back the stateroom attendance to your room to only one visit a day. Looks to me like what they're going to do now is they're just going to make your bed, change your sheets, give you new towels once a day. And if you need any other services, you got to phone it in, and you may have to pay extra. I wouldn't be surprised if you did. And the story goes that as contracts expire on various cruise ships for these room attendants, stateroom attendants, they're going to lay off a bunch of people because if they're only going to have one visit in a day for your stateroom instead of 2 or 3, you don't need as many people. So what's going to happen is the one stateroom attendant is now, instead of looking after 10 or 15, 20 rooms, they're going to look after 40 or 50 or 60 rooms. And they're going to be changing sheets, changing towels for all of their rooms starting at 9 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. And then their shift is over and they can crash downstairs. For you as a passenger, this means that you might not have your bed done till 2 in the afternoon. You don't know when your bed is going to be made. You don't know when you're getting fresh towels because it's once a day. And this thing is going to be stretched out with minimal staff. You're not going to be able to call anybody necessarily because staff's busy. They're going from 9 in the morning, probably 8 in the morning, all the way until 6. This is a major cutback by Norwegian on their cruise ships. And to me, this is another sign that they are bleeding money. They are absolutely bleeding money. They have been trying to get their occupancy levels up and up and up and up. They've been trying to get more people on the ships. They're advertising all over the place for cruises. If you've noticed on some of the football telecasts and other telecasts, you may have noticed ads for Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and others. And I've seen it where you see a picture of a cruise ship underneath you. You're in the air looking down on a cruise ship as it sails along. And then you get behind the cruise ship and you watch it sail away from you with that beautiful blue sky and that turquoise water. And you see these fares, these cruise fares that start at $4.95, and then there's like 10 lines of fine print that even an 80-inch television you can't read it because it's so impossible to read by any human being. With all the exceptions like tipping and surcharges and yeah. I have a feeling that what's going on at Norwegian is that they are bleeding money and it's nonstop. They've already laid off 9% of their onshore staff the week before Christmas. There was no mercy there. They announced right in December Merry freaking Christmas. 9% of you are out of here. And then they announced that Frank Del Rio is getting $25 million as a salary and bonuses and everything else, and that his son, uh, Del Rio Jr., is now the president of Oceania Cruise Lines, which is one of the subsidiary lines. That's a $500,000 a year cash position plus stock bonuses, car allowances, and all kinds of goodies. And yet staff is being cut back left, right, and center. And now we are finding out that they're going to cut back the room stewards on the ship. And this is telling me that wherever they can do cutbacks, they're going to do them. They've already raised the gratuity rates on all the drinks, all the restaurant charges, all the spa services. They've raised prices of drink packages. I'm sure that the excursions are at an absolute high number. And now we're finding out they're cutting back staff. This to me is an absolute race to the bottom, and it's unfortunate because the cruise line is up against all these all-inclusive holiday locations around the Caribbean as well. Mexico, Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, Dominica, Cuba, Jamaica, Barbados. All of these places have all-inclusive resorts. And here's where you can fly in on a charter deal, including airfare, transportation from the airport to your resort, all your drinks, all your meals, all the facilities. And then you can pay extra for massages or get your hair done, or sure, you can do whatever you want. But the basics are all there. On the cruise lines, they aren't there anymore. The basics don't exist anymore. You now have to pay for food to be delivered to your room for breakfast. You have to pay $5 for a jelly, peanut butter and jelly sandwich for your kids per child in your room. If you want to keep the kids in the room for peanut butter jelly sandwiches and throw on a Netflix movie, it's $5 a sandwich, $10 fee to deliver the delivery to the room, plus the 18-20% tip. It's ridiculous. It's getting absolutely stupid over there. And now this. Cutbacks left, right, and center. This, I think, is the beginning. And I really do wonder, are we going to see this on all of the 3- and 4-star cruise lines? The basic lowest level, like Norwegian, Carnival, what about Princess? All in America is more like a 5-star line. Costa Cruising, Cunard, how's this going to go? Are they going to promote cruises where you can get an inside room where they change your blanket and towels once a day at who knows what time, and that cruise is $4.99 plus the taxes and fees and port charges and gratuities, and now you're paying $850 a person, 2 people, $1,700 for a week in an inside room with no view, plus drinks. You're going to drop $2,500, $3,000 for a week on a cruise that was supposed to be $4.99. And then you go to an ocean view room and to a basic balcony room with 1-a-day service. And then can you graduate up to a spa suite balcony room, where they give you spa access, and you'll get a room steward for twice a day for another $200 a week. And then you go to a small suite category, which is really just a larger balcony, and you pay another $400 per person per week more, or $500 or $600. And then ultimately you go to the big suite, and there they have everything. They've never taken anything away, but you're going to drop $4,000 a week per person. You're going to drop $8,000 for a 7-day cruise to the Caribbean. Is this the new normal? And is this going to happen across all cruise lines? I'm wondering if they're all going to join the party and they're all going to do the same thing, because it's not that they want to do it. They have to do it. They've tried to figure out how much more money can we get from every passenger that comes on these ships. We've tried every trick in the book. We've done the old internet advertising game of $3.99 for a vacation. But by the time you click on that vacation and you pick your room and you pick your your amenities and all the other stuff, you're at $12.99, and then there's the tipping and all the other stuff. And then when you get on the ship, you find that there's all these specials being pitched at you left, right, and center. I mean, there's just no let up. They've tried every trick in the book to get money out of you. And once you're on the ship, you're on the ship. You can't go anywhere else. And that leads me to my second little story for you today. And it's, again, Norwegian having made this announcement. Apparently, the NCL Getaway, one of their larger ships, they canceled port of call for one of these ports, one of these cruises. And what they've done is they've had a ship stay. The ship stay in St. John in Antigua has been shortened by several hours, and the stay at St. Thomas has been extended by several hours, and the visit to Tiano Bay, Puerto Plata has been canceled entirely. And the question is, why is this happening? What is going on here? Why would you have fewer hours on land? Why would you have a stop be completely canceled? And why would another one be extended? Well, the extended one, I can understand why that would happen. If you've got excursions on the island and you can add several more excursion choices for your passengers, you'll stay longer on the island because the ship is just sitting there and it's just burning enough fuel to power the air conditioning and the electric system and plumbing system. You're not burning fuel to move the ship, and you're earning income from these day events, these excursions. A shorter stay means that you're not making as much money from shore excursions, and you may as well get back in the water, get the ship out into international water. That's 12 miles offshore, roughly. Turn on those slot machines, because you're in international waters and the casino is open for business. Because on land, in port, you can't have the slot machine. Now, why would you cancel a port of call? Why would you do that? Likely because the mathematics are such that it would be better for the cruise line to have you on the ship spending money only on board, rather than have you get off the ship at 8 in the morning, get back on the ship at 5 in the afternoon, and they get less time, conscious awake time, to have you spend your money. So if they can run that spa with massages at full capacity, because you're at sea all day, they run the casino all day with slot tournaments and poker tournaments and blackjack tournaments, all this extra money. They run, cooking classes, and they have all these other events that you can get into. Plus, the bar is open at international water all day long, and you know how much a Ryan Coke costs nowadays on a cruise ship. It's a fortune. That might be the reason. That might be the actual reason. I heard a rumor that the other reason that this particular port has been canceled, Tiano Bay, is that a cruise ship from Norwegian was grounded. It got caught and was grounded in shallow water at one time, about 2 years ago. Cost a lot of money to fix. And they're not happy with how the government has fixed things up. And it could be that, you get a cruise line that used to come to your island, and your island isn't spending money on beautification. They're not prettying up the port facility. Too many pickpockets hanging around, too many medication deals being offered that are of a dubious nature. The cruise line is going to say, we're not stopping here. We're just not going to do it. We are, for the safety of our passengers, the safety of our crew, and for the hassle for all these ne'er-do-wells, we're not coming here. Because if any of our passengers get assaulted, robbed, or anything else, we're the guys who get blamed for it, because they were on our cruise line. And we don't want that. So a couple of combinations going on here, but I would not be surprised if in the next few months and over the next year or two, you are going to notice a number of cruise lines offer shorter itinerary cruises, or They're going to offer itineraries, but they're going to be in a concentrated area, especially the Caribbean, where you'll have Turks and Caicos, you'll have St. John's, you might have St. Thomas, you might have San Martin, you might have San Juan, Puerto Rico. You may have islands with only 100 miles to here, 80 miles to here, 150 miles here. Very concentrated little area, and then back to the home port. And if you have an island in the area that's your island, you're going to take people there and try to charge them more for the privilege. I just have this suspicion that with the cruise line shares as low as they are, and with interest rates going up the way they've been going up, these cruise lines are really hurting for cash flow, and they need to raise money to pay off their bankers. Every year, cruise bonds that were issued for cash 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, they come up for maturity every year. There's a series of bonds that every year have to be paid off. What the cruise lines have been doing, and what governments have been doing forever, is when a bond is due and you owe $100 million on this bond. You've been paying interest every year now for 3-4 years, but now you got to come up with $100 million. The cruise line would borrow $100 million fresh dollars to replace the $100 million they have to pay off, and they'll just take the $100 million, give it to the group over here. You're paid out. We just borrowed $100 million from a new bunch of investors, and we pay them interest now for 5 years. And the game was that cruise lines would say, okay, well, we have $100 million that we got to pay off. We're going to raise $200 million this year. So we'll raise $200 million, pay the commissions to the brokers to raise this money, pay off the $100 million, and we'll have $80 million left over. And that'll be added to our pockets, into our bank accounts, and we'll continue on. Well, the last 2 years, that game hasn't been the same. That game has now been replaced with another game. And that game is, we have $200 million in debt maturing this week or this month. We're raising $500 million in additional cash. We need an additional $250 million in cash because we are losing $50 million a month, $100 million a month in money operating our cruise line. Now, when they were parked off the coast of Bermuda and Bahamas and all that, well, mainly Bahamas, they were just sitting there. There was a skeleton staff on board the ships, and they were waiting for cruising to restart. The problem is a cruise ship sitting in salt water is getting attacked by the salt air. All the electrical systems, all the plumbing systems have to be checked all the time. The waters have to keep flowing through all the pipes. You gotta keep moving the water through the dishwasher systems, even though there aren't 5,000 people on board. You gotta keep things running. The laundry facilities have to be run on a rotational basis. Maintenance has to be done. Painting, scraping off the barnacles that are gathering on the hull. I mean, there is no end to keeping a ship in top-notch shape for paying passengers. The problem with the cruise lines is it was 2 years of no paying passengers, and they were bleeding hundreds of millions of dollars a month. So every month the cruise lines were raising another $500 million, paying off $200 million here, keeping $300 million, and on it went. It's been a never-ending mess. And here we are now with COVID over, apparently. No testing requirement now. Anybody can go on a cruise. No vaccine needed. You don't even have to be vaccinated anymore to get on a cruise ship. I mean, we are talking wide open. And what do we have happening? We have people coming off cruise ships with respiratory problems, getting home, testing. I got COVID. We have cruise lines who are running at 70, 80, 90, 100% capacity. We have passengers complaining about how crowded cruise ships are. They don't have any mask requirements. They don't have any spacing requirements. Passengers are complaining about main dining room menus that now have prices in them. There used to be menus in the main dining room. There were no prices for any of the items that were offered to eat. It was included in your cruise. You prepaid for your meals up until last year. It's no longer the case. Now you haven't prepaid for all your meals. You now owe extra money for your meals. And at one time, you could go to the steakhouse for $10 a person surcharge, just a little minor, tiny surcharge, $10 each, and you can order whatever you want. Surf and turf, filet mignon, no problem. Those days are over. You now go to the steakhouse on board a cruise ship. Some of them have a flat charge. It might be $40, $60, $80 a person extra. But some of them don't have a flat charge. They just have a menu with prices in them. And now you go into the steakhouse, you order a couple of steaks and some salad and a little this and that, and you get the bill, and it's $150. This so-called $10 each surcharge, that went by the way of the Dodo Bird in 2018 and 19. It's all over. And these cruise lines are now cutting back on portion size. They're cutting back on wait staff. They're cutting back on service. And this will not go over well with the old crowd. The new crowd will compare a cruise to an all-inclusive vacation, to a Disneyland holiday, to a Hard Rock cafe experience. They'll compare it to an RV holiday for a 2-week getaway. There's going to be comparisons done where the cruise business no longer is at the top of the list for value, because there was a time a cruise ship holiday for a 10-day cruise, 15-day cruise to Hawaii and back was the best deal going. All your meals included, all the entertainment. There were no surcharges for resort fees. There were no such thing as resort fees. And your tipping was very reasonable. It really worked out, but those days are gone. And now we're hearing Norwegian offloading stateroom staff. They're going to lay off stateroom staff. Don't be surprised if on a typical cruise ship with 1,800 crew, 500 are gone. 500 will be dumped off. And these are not $100,000 a year people. These are the folks who are at the bottom of the heap when it comes to how much money they're paid. They're making 800 a month, 1,000 a month. They're not getting 100,000 a year or 200,000 a year. This is not a chance. The guy making 25 million a year is Frank Del Rio at the top. All is well in Frank's house. No problem as the CEO, but underneath this guy and in those levels of management and lower, and then on the ships, grim. They are losing money apparently, and it's not looking good. I'm just worried about the whole thing. Anyway, there it is. We'll see how this all plays out. I'd love to get your comments. I'd love to find out what your thoughts on all this would be. Louise is saying, no wonder you're eating lots of bagels. I'm about to wash your TWB shirt in a few minutes. Robert Blend, hi, Bruce, number 9. Glad to hear Jen is doing great. 52 degrees in Boston today. Thank you, Robert. Ms. M, gas in Vancouver area, $1.70 a liter. It was around $1.50 at Christmas time. Kimberly, the rich seem to get richer and the middle class has totally disappeared. Ken F is here, number 37 on your thumbs up meter. I think cheers. I think I'm 37. Cheers from Kelowna, BC. Thank you, Ken. Louise, while on Hall America last summer, my sister and I showered the staff with extra tips. If the prices increase, that may change. Cloud 7 Travel, no CEO deserves that much money. Toby, cut service and raise gratuities, total BS. Louise, I asked the staff on Hall America to please not make my bed, as I need to sleep on a very messy bed. However, I need a bucket of ice on a regular basis. Eddie, happy New Year to you and Jen. Thank you, Eddie. NCL is not going away, but goodbye. Robert, the Del Rio family are making no sacrifices to help their workers. Totally disgusting. Eddie, where are you now? California. We're in California. Robert, it looks like the cruise line industry is cutting their own throat. Eddie, celebrity has not cut yet. Princess is awful. Eddie is saying celebrity has not cut yet. They better not. Spicy Android, number 41, thumbs up. Thank you, Spicy. Cloud 7, cruise ship pricing for solo travelers puzzles me. Often you will find out that it's more expensive to book the same cruise with 2 people than for one. It's just discourages solo cruising. Louise, Jerry is regretting leaving me now. He missed out on several cruises, gourmet food, nice company, and more. His supposed girlfriend totally misled him. Way to go, Louise. I plan to stick with All America for the time being. Right on. G.I. Lewis. Hello, Bruce. Hello, friends. Olga. Hello, Bruce. I'm so excited to be on live with you all. Nice to have you here, Olga. Welcome to the show. Where are you watching me from, folks? Let me know. Where are you watching me from? What was your high temperature today? What's the price of gas where you live? Are any of you going on a cruise soon? Have you had any experiences with cruises lately? Have they gone down in quality? Have you guys noticed this sort of stuff? Nikki, did Jen enjoy the Steeler win? What a game. Oh my gosh, that the house was on pins and needles. We're just watching this game, just like the game before. It all came down to the last couple of minutes when the Steelers pulled it out. Oh my goodness, Jen is one happy gal right now. Kelly Haston is in the house. Hey, TWB, I'm number 43 thumbs ups. Great to catch you live. Just got off the Radiance of the Seas. 65 more days until Symphony of the Seas transatlantic cruise. Right on, Kelly. Welcome to the channel tonight. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. Tim is here. Tim C. Bruce, do you have anything positive to say? Your outlook is very negative. Cloud 7. I meant more expensive than one person with two people in the same stateroom. I know what you mean. It is solo travel is expensive. AL is here. I'm from Washington, D.C. Right on, AL. Thank you for joining us. I wish I could tell you that the bargains have come your way. I wish I could tell you that cruising is just like you remembered it 20 years ago. I am sorry to say that that is not the case. It began changing about 10 years ago, and it changed 10 or 12 years before that, and we are nowhere near what it was like 20 or 30 years ago. There is no resemblance anymore between cruising back then and cruising now. Now, I will admit, though, the cruise ships are way more interesting than they've ever been. The variety of what you can do on a cruise ship is unbelievable. But when it comes to service and being pampered and being looked after in a first class manner, this is gone. This has left town. Unless you're in a top-notch suite, you're in one of those Haven suites, or you're in one of those high-end rooms, owner suites, you're not going to get the cruise experience that your mom and dad were getting or your grandparents were getting 20 or 30 or 40 years ago. Gone are the days of the 1950s and 60s transatlantic cruising. That service is a memory. You would not believe the service that you had. I will bet you that the only place you're ever going to see what it was really like on an ocean liner and on a first class setting is if you watch the movie Titanic, or you watch a murder mystery movie, where they set you up in the 1920s and 30s and whatever. Because it's just not there anymore. It's just not the same. These cruise lines have taken the volume approach. They've decided we're going to build bigger ships than we've ever built before, because during the heyday of transatlantic cruising, when the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth and the SS France and the SS Norway, when these behemoths were crossing the Atlantic, they had 2,000 passengers, and they were the biggest ships man had ever made, and they were the most luxurious cruise ships, ocean liner, ever made. I mean, there was no fancier way you could travel across the Atlantic in the early 1950s than on these ocean liners. They were competing with each other for the creme de la creme of corporate travelers, Hollywood stars, television personalities. I mean, they went after royalty for crossing the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, it was the best of the best, first class everything. Today, you are being warehoused on a cruise ship that might have 5,500 passengers, 2,200 crew, and you're going down now to once a day towel and blanket service. The folks at Norwegian, just to give you a sense of how they're trying to sell this deal, they have a public relations department. They're trying to justify how to cut back service to the customer by only having one visit a day from a stateroom attendant. It's for the environment. Oh, it's for the betterment of the environment, because we're only going to turn the sheets down. They might even only do your bed as far as change your sheets once a cruise. They are going to do less laundry, and that means they're using less detergent. And this is better for the environment, you see. This is all for the planet's benefit. Frank Del Rio is not getting a cut in pay. Okay, he is not taking a pay cut of any kind. He's getting just as much money as he always got, if not more money. So don't worry about Frank. He's going to be fine. Now, if you buy that argument, good luck to you, because the folks at Carnival were saying the same thing when it came to the room service that they were talking about. They were saying that we're not going to give you room service for breakfast anymore at complimentary, and we're not going to give you room service for a snack during the day anymore. We're not going to give you room service for dinner anymore. The reason is, you see, people order food through room service, which is complimentary, was, and you could order a steak, and you could order, baked potato and some dessert, some salad, some soup, whatever. They'd bring food for one or two or the family, didn't matter. And they said that what would happen was people would eat a certain amount of the food, and then whenever they were done, they would just leave the tray outside in the hall. And the cruise line was saying, we're finding this so much wastage of food that we want to cut back on the wastage. So one way to stop the wastage is to charge for it, and the second one is to not offer it at all. just we don't do room service anymore. If you want to get food, you go to the dining room, which of course are becoming specialty restaurants. So now you want a pizza, you go to the pizza counter, pay for that. You want a burger and fries, you go to the burger and fry counter, pay for that. You want chicken, pay for that. You want either you want a steakhouse experience, you want Chinese food, Mexican food, you go to the specialty restaurants and you pay for it, because more and more are no longer included anymore in your thing. And that means by paying for it, you see, you're not going to waste as much food. What they don't say is that people go to these specialty restaurants and they order their meals and they get their food, and there's all kinds of leftovers left on the plate when they're done because they didn't finish it all, and it still gets thrown away. There's always a percentage of food that isn't used up. It's always the same. There's none of it. This is all bunk. This is all public relations gobbledygook to try to find an excuse to basically charge you more, including those daily surcharge tipping fees for people that aren't there anymore, and you are going to get much less. This is all it is, and there is no way around it. You can put whatever spin on it you want, but you're not fooling us. We're not stupid, you know. Gosh. Rhonda Young, I'm going on NCL Viva December 23rd. Do you have any updates? Nothing today. Rocky, high temperature in Chesapeake, Virginia today was good, I guess. Jeff, hi, Bruce. Carnival switched to once a day room service prior to COVID. Eddie, Charlotte, 65 today, 280, 289 for regular gas. I'm sailing February on Celebrity. Jeff Dinan, you have the option of an AM or PM, and they sometimes work in pairs with one doing all the vacuuming of the floors. Louise, I love listening to you. I think cruise ships are getting too big. They should stop right now. Rocky, high temperature day in Chesapeake was 69. It was a -1 below 2 weeks ago. Gas is up to 310 from 275 about a month ago. Louise, according to All America, they do not change your sheets during the cruise unless there is an accident. There you go. Yeah, things have completely changed out. There used to be a time, probably in the early 2000s and prior, that you would go on a cruise and they would change your sheets every day. You get new pillowcases every day, change the towels every day. Even your morning coat, that thing you wear to this pool, they launder those every day. You would be pampered with the best of the best, and you could tell. You felt it, you smelled it, you knew those crispy sheets every night. There were people who would go on cruise ships once a year for a 1 week cruise, a 2 week cruise, and they would say, "We do this every year because it's the best vacation we can afford. We can't afford this at a Ritz Carlton hotel. We can't afford this kind of service at a Westin hotel or a Four Seasons. We can't afford this at a nice hotel in Disneyland or Disney World, but we can afford it on a cruise ship." And boy, was it nice. Because we used to say here on this channel all the time, and everybody who's a YouTuber who talks about cruising, we used to say all the time that the reason cruising was such a bargain was because the staff on board cruise ships were from countries around the world where the American dollar was king. You were spending American dollars in a place where you could get a hotel room at a real nice hotel for 20 bucks a night. With that same hotel in New York would be $800 a night. Well, we used to get staff from around the world, and still do, that are paid third world type wages, which was, a debatable point on this channel and other channels. Is it right that these people should work as hard as they do and make $800 a month or $1,000 a month or $1,200 a month for as hard as they work? At the same time, while we were saying this and talking about it, people were going on cruises for $600 a week in a five-star setting with excellent food, excellent service, and we were more than generous with tip money in almost all instances. And you have the room stewards who are looking after 20 rooms, and they're making $300-400 a week in tipping bonuses, plus their wages. They're getting more in tip money than their wage. And they were sending home a ton of money. And after 15, 20 years of working as a career cruise ship person, you'd have saved up back at home enough to buy a house and make something of yourself or get into whatever you wanted to get into. You'd have fluent English as your language, as a language. You can read and write English if you choose to upgrade yourself. You could take management courses from cruise lines and move up to manage hotels, manage restaurants, manage 20 staff in a nice restaurant. There were opportunities here for some of these folks that never had the opportunity where they were coming from. Not a chance. But today, these cruise lines are in such trouble. They've got such banker problems. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. I don't know. I just don't know. Sorry, folks, about this. We are having issues here with some kind of a troll, and we can't make them go away. YouTube won't let us block them out. If you're able to block them out, I hope you can, and not pay any attention to them. I would love to get rid of them, but I don't know how to eliminate them from existence. It's a real pain. There's no question about it. So I'm sorry about these folks. Thank you all for being here. And thank you all for popping in here today and hanging out with us. Like I said, we're trying to cover the business as best we can. Tim Bowman, I joined late, but on my last 2-month cruise on All in America, we had 2-time day of service, no towel animals or chocolate except on dressy nights. We loved our stateroom attendants. Great stuff. Not surprised to hear this on All in America. Rocky, so Bruce, you are discouraging us from cruising anymore and encouraging us to get a Euro pass, take the train around Europe instead. Well, if you're going to go on cruising, you may want to be careful which cruise line you choose. And those of you who are used to being pampered and getting first-class service, there might be a smaller selection of cruise lines going forward that we might want to pick from. That's what I'm really, I think, trying to say here. Norwegian might be one of those cruise lines that are cutting back so dramatically that and raising their prices so high that it's just not worth the price that they're trying to sell us. You might be better off being on a Celebrity Cruise Line or Holland America or Cunard, but booking a higher class room on these ships. Not trying to get the bargoon rooms because you're going to be given stripped down service, which might disappoint you. Just saying, it's something to really consider. Eddie, the planet, hang your towel, save the water, please. What a mess. Eddie, we travel to be pampered no more. I've noticed, of course, you have too, I'm sure, 20 years ago, the hotels started coming up with little gimmicks where they would have a little sign hanging on your towel rack saying, if you can use your towels for 2 days in a row, you're helping us save the planet. No, you're helping them improve their profit margin. That's what you're helping them do. They're not doing as much laundry as before. They can lay people off and cut costs, for operating and make more profits. They're not going to reduce your price for the room. They're going to make more money off of you. Stephen Butler, thanks. Another interesting show. Honest discourse on the state of the travel industry is always beneficial. Jen, we hope your recovery is speedy, and thanks to you both. Thank you, Stephen Butler, for your kind words. Appreciate it. Louise, Happy New Year to you, beautiful, and to you, beautiful, and your beautiful Jen. Thank you so much. Guys, have a great week coming up. Stay healthy. Let's take a look at the thumbs up meter. We're at 54 thumbs ups. Man, that is great stuff. Thank you all for 54 thumbs ups already. Over halfway to our goal of 100. Those of you watching on the rerun, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button because most of the viewers of my channel show here are rerunners. They catch the show hours later, days later. And thank you for those of you who are hitting that thumbs up button for me. It is absolutely wonderful. 2 of each, Mom. Very interesting. Thank you. Hope your wife heals quickly. Eddie, boycott cruising. That'll teach them. Ginger snap. I don't know what that means, but thank you. We'll see how cruising works out. It might all come out where certain cruise lines will be at one level and other cruise lines will be at another level, and we'll be comparing notes between us going, if you want the first class experience, you got to go on this line or that line. You want the cheap experience, you're going to have to go over here and here and here, but don't be complaining when you get the lower services. But with these increase in gratuities, increase in fees, increase in drink prices, you might be better off just going right to the 5 or 6 star cruise line, ignoring everybody else because they can't deliver the goods. What kind of gets me amazed, New Year's blessings, thank you, Ginger. What amazes me is how a cruise line with 5,000 passenger cruise ships can't offer value for the money. They can't do it. They're charging a ridiculous price and all these add-ons to just pile on. They can't make it affordable compared to a land-based 500-person resort. Here, a 5,000-person floating resort is not able to make it affordable. And that's because of the banker charges they've now run into. They're mortgaged up to here on every cruise ship they've got. Every asset they have is mortgaged out. They're paying high prices to be around. So that might be the problem. We'll have to see what happens. Thank you all. We'll catch up with you next week. Thank you, Jeannie. Kelly, are you going to tell us about any deals today? I have no deals today, but I promise you next week we will bring out some deals for the new year and see what you think of those. I always look forward to Monday nights to hear you speak, says Louise. Thank you, my dear. Ginger, touchy phone. Who are you going to recommend for river cruises in Europe or Greek cruises? There are a number of cruise lines in Europe that are up for business. At least 24 now. It's amazing the choices. I always hear about Avalon and I hear about Viking, but there are a number of others. Check out vacationstogo.com and you can check river cruising companies on there and see what deals are being offered. But, Europe right now is touchy because of the high cost of inflation. It's just surging at 10, 12, 14% a year. Europe is in trouble over there with high prices just coming across the board. I don't know. We'll see how this works out, and we'll take it from there. I just don't know. Folks, thank you so much for your attendance tonight. 57 thumbs ups, and they're still coming in. Thank you all for that. I hope you have a great week. Stay healthy out there. Make sure to follow your doctor's instructions. Don't get sick on me. Join me next Monday at 7 o'clock for the sponsor member show, 8 o'clock for the big show. Love having you guys here. I wish you all the best till next week, and welcome all to 2023. Ginger, I just was in Norway in August. Oh, that had to be cool. Tim, we sailed in Uniworld on our river cruise. It was wonderful. There you go. Tim ought to know the best cruise lines on river cruises. We'll catch you next week, Monday, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good night. All the best from Palm Desert, California.